the ambient game sound. No way. I think I think English speaking for you is the worst. Okay, so we have this article to read. And the title of the article first gives away everything I need to tell you. Evo Moment 37, please stop. I'm gonna put a background behind the stream chat so we can actually see it. Hold on. Chat box. Whoa. Did I just break it? Oh, I broke it. It's gone. Chat's gone. Okay, chat. You guys are back. Hey, what's good? What's cracking? Beanie Thuggish back here again with another reaction video. I'm kidding. So we're going to be reading this article. And the first thing that I want to mention is the title. Title and the bottom part. And this literally says everything you need to know. I thought that this would have been common knowledge. I thought everyone knew this. But by people's reactions on the internet, I guess it's not common knowledge, right? People assume or assumed, whoa, RuneScape music in the background. That's actually pretty epic. Maybe I should turn that off. Uh-oh. No. Maybe I should turn that off. Nah, it's epic. Let's leave it on, actually. So, it says, Xbox loses as much as $200 on every Xbox it sells, Phil Spencer says. Microsoft expects to make back the money through sales of games and accessories. Okay, one, music is actually really fucking loud. I think I'm just going to completely close RuneScape. I'm just going to completely close RuneScape. Two, I thought this was common knowledge. The hardware that consoles pack is ridiculous. Okay, even technically for the PS4 and the Xbox One, which I thought were pretty underpowered compared to this generation of consoles, for $200 or $300 when they launched. For $300, that shit was a steal. Like you couldn't build a PC as strong as that at that price point for $300. You would be spending upwards of, $350, $450 just for the extra boost. But I mean, when you think about it, you're getting a computer. Now, because of the fact that they're coupling all of that hardware together and it's proprietary hardware that they have to contract out, they're not getting it off the shelf. It's not off the shelf parts. So they're not consumer grade products, which means that they're not easy to buy in bulk. You have to contract those things. Consoles, at least since the PS3 and Xbox 360, have been made with the purpose of being a investment, of being a what's the word we're looking for here? A subscription service. Basically, consoles are basically a subscription service. And now let's go ahead and get into the article. Let's see if any of what I said kind of rings true in this article. According to Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer, Microsoft loses as much as $200 on every Xbox it sells, according to CNBC's write-up of a recent Tech Live event. I forgot my letters for a second. Sorry. Spencer disclosed that Microsoft subsidizes the product cost of every new Xbox by about $100 to $200 per console. There was some confusion about Spencer's comments, and Microsoft followed up with GameSpot to send through exactly what Spencer said during the event. He said, consoles is a business model. In the overall scope of gaming, is a fairly small relative to the places people play. Consoles evolved into a business model much different from phones, where consoles are actually sold at a loss in the market. So when someone goes out and buys an Xbox at their local retailer, we're subsidizing that purchase somewhere between $100 and $200, with the expectation that we'll recoup that investment over time through accessory sales and the storefront. Okay, so not only can they make that money back off accessories, not only can they make that back off game sales, not only do they make that back off of Xbox Live Gold, now Microsoft, at least, right? I don't know how good PlayStation Plus Premium is, which is like they bundled in PlayStation Now, which is their like game streaming service or their game renting service, basically. Xbox Live Gold plus Xbox Game Pass makes them $35 a month. Like it's $15 or $25 a month off of you. It's $10 for Xbox Live, right? Or $15, something like that. And then it's another $15 for Xbox Game Pass. Right, you have access to a bunch of amazing titles or whatever if you like single player stuff. Mostly it's single player stuff. I think you can also get like MLB The Show, which is a whole meme known only to the Soul Calibur community, but it's fine. They have a bunch of games that you like basically for as long as you have Xbox Game Pass, you basically rent them like GameFly back in the day. I don't know if you guys remember the GameFly commercials when we were kids, or like you could go to a Blockbuster Video and rent games. It's kind of like that, right? Except it's Microsoft's own version of it through the storefront instead of having to do discs. And all of these things, when you add up the cost of the console plus this for 7-8 years, it truly, first of all, it truly does make Microsoft money. Okay, there's no way in the world it doesn't, or they wouldn't continue to make consoles. Like, think about that. Like, so when you read this, if you read this first part, it really feels like they're trying to guilt trip the consumer into buying more things. All right, you bought Xbox, you had Xbox Live Gold for like 2 years or whatever, and then you bought like 7 games. They made their money back off you. Don't worry, they already made their money back off you, right? Because if you think about the cost of Xbox Live Gold per month, that's $120 a year if you're buying it monthly. If you're an idiot, right? If you're buying it monthly, or I guess you're a kid and you don't know if you can afford it every month, it is $120 a year. So $240 plus a couple games plus a second controller. Boom. Xbox already made their money back off you. If you thought that this was meant to guilt trip you, this is actually just a look inside of how the market works for consoles. Consoles are always, or probably will always be, basically sold at a loss so that they can make their money back off of game sales, accessories, and subscription service. Do I think that's a bad thing? Depends what kind of person you are. If you are a person who is going to be using your gaming console constantly, and you don't mind paying for these things, no, it's not a bad thing at all. If you're going to be using your console very infrequently, but you do not forget to turn, if you're one of those just actual mentally deficient people who forget to turn off subscriptions for things you don't use, it is a waste of money. That was my big reason for getting this PlayStation that was under my monitor out of here and throwing that shit out the window. I'm just kidding. I sold it to a friend who wanted to play Multiverses. But regardless, I no longer own a PlayStation 4 because I didn't play it enough to keep PlayStation Plus, but all the games I wanted to play, I needed PlayStation Plus to play. Do you hate consoles? No, I don't hate consoles. I just don't think the consoles, I love that. That's like when I say I like waffles and someone's like, so you hate pancakes? You hate pancakes, huh? Wow, that's crazy. Oh, I love oranges. Man, you must fucking hate grapes. Like, that's... I think for my use case, for the way that I play video games and how often I play video games on console, it didn't feel worth it to keep those subscription services. But if you want a cheaper way into the gaming ecosystems, I hate consoles, fair enough. If you want a cheaper way into gaming ecosystems and don't want to have to deal with the hassle of setting up Windows and then setting up Steam and Epic Games and Battle.net and Riot Games Launcher, I don't know what the fuck Riot Games Launcher is called, sorry. Setting up all those things, and you just want the simplicity of this nice snazzy console UI for a markup if you're playing all the time, that's totally fine, right? Now you build yourself a nice PC for like anywhere between $800 to $1,200, right? That's already more than the cost of a console, but that will last you. That $800 or $1,200 is gonna last you 10 years, and it's probably not gonna cost as much over time because you're just buying the games. You don't have to buy new controllers when they break, unless you're on controller like me. Most people play on keyboard and mouse. I'm weird. I still play on controller. And you're also not having to deal with game subscription fees, right? Like, okay, sure, you're playing RuneScape online and you pay for RuneScape, but you're not paying for RuneScape Plus, PlayStation Plus, or I guess more aptly, Final Fantasy 14 online. I don't know if that's still on PlayStation, but I know for a while it was. So say you played Final Fantasy 14 on PlayStation 4 plus the subscription for it. You're paying for PlayStation plus the subscription Final Fantasy 14 instead of just building a PC and playing Final Fantasy 14 on your PC and then be able to open up stuff on the other side. I'm not paying for RuneScape. I also don't pay for RuneScape. I probably should. I play it more than enough to pay for it, to be fair. Let's get further into this article. Spencer added, the report said Microsoft expects to make up the difference by selling games and accessories, which are known to have better profit margins. Yeah. So if you guys are wondering why you go to a store and you try to pick out a controller and you're like, why are all of these controllers so fucking expensive? They mark down the consoles so they can mark up the controllers, right? The profit margins on a controller, it probably costs them anywhere between, with labor costs, I don't know, $30. Labor plus shipping, plus packaging, and production, probably like $30 to make the Xbox controller. But they're gonna charge you $60 because it's a 2 times profit. You make you can make your full production cost back plus 100% profit. That's amazing. There's, when you think about how cheap the consoles are, it makes sense that they would do it that way. Same with games, right? People are like, oh no, games are going to go up to $70. Well, it's because the cost of production went up. No, because the hardware in consoles is so much more expensive, and they're selling you the consoles at a loss. They have to make up that money somewhere. They have to make up that money somewhere. Like there's nothing you can do about it, right? They're making their money back one way or another. If you don't like it, I guess don't buy the games. I guess that's the real answer. And it's the same way with games should be $200. God no. If all DLC is free, I'll pay $200 for a game. If you never have to pay for a lick of DLC, I'm down. It's better known for some time that consoles are loss leaders. Yeah, I mean, I would hope that it's known, but this is among the first time that an executive at a console producer has specifically put a dollar amount, and in this case, a range to that extent of the cost. The CNBC piece doesn't directly quote Spencer, and the GameSpot has followed up with Microsoft in an attempt to get more details. Okay, here we go. Spencer made these comments around the same time that he confirmed Xbox Game Pass is profitable, but he shied away from offering any further specifics about the economics of the service. Spencer also recently talked about how Microsoft will be likely to implement Xbox price increases in the future, but not until after the holidays. Rising production costs due to supply chain and logistics for consoles led Sony to announce the PS5 price hike in some regions, and Microsoft may be the next to follow. Okay, so what he's saying is buy your console now. Because, like, buy your console now. Okay, like, I don't think that these are underpowered pieces of tech, but they're not worth more than you're already paying for them when you factor in everything else. Like, if I pull up, like, a calculator real quick. Hold on. Let me pull up a calculator, right? So, what is an Xbox Series X? An Xbox Series X is Xbox. What are they, 500 or 600? Uh, 600. 600. 600. Pull up the calc. Yeah, I gotta pull up the calc. You know what it is. Okay, so there's $600, right? $600 for an Xbox Series X. $60 for a second controller, right? Throw in a couple games. Let's say we get, I don't know, 2 single player experiences and maybe 2 multiplayer experiences. Wait, I got 2 multiplayer experiences? My bad. I totally need to account for the cost of 7 years of Xbox Live Gold. Oh, and let's just go ahead and add in 7 years of Xbox Game Pass. So we don't really have to buy more games. We got our 4 starter games. Anything that's on Game Pass, we can play now. So let's go ahead and add $900 to the cost of. Let me see this. I remember 900. Don't you worry, chat. If I forgot 900, remind me. 900. Someone say it with me. So it'd be $10 plus $15 times 12 times 7. All right, now go ahead and add that to the 900. That is how much you're paying roughly for the cost of entertainment for 7 years on an Xbox console. If the price increase is something like $150, I mean, what's $150 more on top of, $3,000? And $3,000 when you think about entertainment for 7 years it's not an enormous amount. But if, like, I don't know, I didn't buy Xbox Game Pass, or I did, but I had a PC, I don't know. Let's say I'm looking to upgrade my PC. It's going to cost me, my PC out of the box was $500. My upgrades are going to be about another $500. So let's go times 2. I don't think it's going to be, well, we'll just say baseline 1,000. Whoa, go back. All right, we're at $1,000 right now when I upgrade my PC. All right, and then I don't know. I want Game Pass for the next 7 years. So Game Pass is $15 a month. Oops, I'm bad at math. I'm bad at using a calculator. Is really what it is. Oh, I did it right. You forgot the 150 extra. We don't know how much the console's going up and in what regions. The thing about PlayStations was they said what regions, and America's not one of them. America's actually not one of the regions it's going up in price, and it's very strange. I don't understand why. And then let's go ahead and add that 1,000. Hey, cool. I saved like $800. And I mean, yeah, you could say, wait, but you're not accounting for any other games. Yeah, because there's a fuck ton of free PC games that just don't exist on console. There's Valorant. There's League of Legends. There's Overwatch 2, which I guess does also work on console. Work is the keyword. There's a whole lot of free games. CS:GO, right? One of the biggest games in the world. The biggest game on Steam, right? CS:GO. There's so many free games, and there's also so many sales. So instead of taking that $240 and saying, okay, well, we spent $240 on games, you could probably say you spent $100 on games. Let's say 160 to be generous. You're still saving $600. That's without the price increase of a console. Big whoop. Oh no, you need a desk. No, you don't. You can put you can put a computer in an entertainment center just like you can with a console. You just plug in a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse and hang out on your couch. No biggie. No difference. Right. Let's see. Spencer made these comments. Wait, we already read that part. The Xbox being sold at a loss is not a surprise. Selling hardware for a loss and making up the difference has been a strategy from Microsoft, Sony, across multiple console generations. As part of the Apple versus Epic court case, Microsoft revealed that it has never made a profit selling Xbox hardware dating back to the original Xbox. Nintendo is a rare example, as it claims to sell the Nintendo Switch for a profit. They're charging you more than that shit's worth? Nintendo fans are getting fucking scammed. You guys are paying fucking $300 for an Android tablet with a fucking Nintendo OS on it? That's not even worth $300. You guys are getting scammed. Get cooked. Get fucking destroyed. Oh man, that sucks. That sucks. But yeah, consoles have always been sold at a loss, and they make their money back on accessories and game sales and subscription services. And I don't see that stopping anytime soon. It just depends how much you're willing to spend on your entertainment, and if you think that your entertainment could be spent in different ways. Because, like I said, like that over that 7 year time span, you could probably find tons of summer Steam sales and cheap keys of games that you want to play on Steam on other sites for way cheaper than you would on Steam. It's what makes PC gaming so accessible. Because if you have a PC and you have the hardware to support whatever games you want to play, there's a giant back catalog. You don't really have those giant back catalogs on console. I think like Xbox has been doing more to make sure that a lot of older games are on their storefront, like Xbox 360 games, Xbox One games, or I guess backwards compatible with Xbox Series, right? I guess that's the easiest way to put it. And I don't hate that. The only thing I will say is there's one part of this that I don't think I like. He said the report had no information on the subsidization costs for the Xbox Series X versus the Xbox Series S versus the Xbox One. I hate that because we don't know which one he's talking about. It says as much as $200. Like, so which one is being sold at a loss? Is the Xbox Series X being sold at a loss, but the Xbox Series S is being sold like at margin, at parity? Slight profit loss, slight profit margin. Like, what's happening with the full scope? I think that's the first time they've gotten so into depth with. We know that they're sold at a loss. At least I do. So many people don't actually know the consoles are sold at a loss. Like, I saw this article in like a Facebook group that I'm in, and people are like, "Ha, yeah, Xbox is sold at a loss. That's why I have a PlayStation." And I'm like, I don't think that's how that works. If a PlayStation executive came out and said that it was sold at a loss, you would be surprised, and it's not. It's not any different. It's sold at a loss just like the Xbox is because they have those same models and things in place, right? They have a subscription service in PlayStation Plus. They have PlayStation Plus Premium now, right? They sell you controllers and headsets and camera attachments, right? They want to make their money back off of accessories and games. That's why we haven't seen Valve. That's why we haven't seen Valve make a game in forever. Because do you know how much money they make in just game sales? So much fucking money, okay? That's how they make the Steam Deck. If you guys think that the Steam Deck is not made at a loss, I want to show you a competing handheld. Steam Deck. I think the highest one is what? The highest Steam Deck is $649.99 or $649, right? I think the Ionia Next is the newest one. Where's the most expensive one? I think it's this one. Yeah, this is the most expensive one. Pre-order. Let's see how much it's gonna cost. Oh, okay. Well, I don't want to. I want to see how much it's gonna cost. The Aya Neo, if I'm not mistaken, is like $1,000 device. It's like the lowest model is like 800 or something, and that one's out. That one is sold the fuck out. Um, the highest model is I think like 1,400, 1,500. So like basically double the cost of the Steam Deck. But the reason why Valve can sell you a Steam Deck at $700 for the highest model compared to Aya Neo selling you the highest model for $1,500 or $1,400 is because Aya Neo makes zero money on Steam. They don't have a storefront that they're selling you games at. They don't have accessories that they can sell you to subsidize the loss of selling the Aya Neo at a lower price. The Aya Neo is basically another gaming handheld, but it's a Windows device instead of SteamOS. It can run SteamOS because it's just basically a mini PC. You can put whatever fucking OS you want on it. But Valve makes so much money on game sales that they're like, hey, you've never had a handheld console that can play PC games? You've never really been part of the PC ecosystem? Here you go. Here's this console-like experience. Join us. And they lose money making the Steam Deck. But then they're like, ooh, if new users get into the ecosystem because of the Steam Deck, if people who have never played on Steam before, or never had a large Steam library, maybe you've had a couple games because your older brother had a computer and he let you use it, or you have an old gaming laptop that could run some games, but it's too old now. You buy a Steam Deck, you start buying games, and Valve slowly but surely makes that money back, or at least that's the dream. That's what they want. And I don't think that it's like vastly underpowered hardware, but compared to the Aya Neo, it's almost at parity, right? This is like a 4-core, 8-thread CPU with a built-in GPU that's like RDNA 3 or something. Pretty cool. These are like older RDNA 2 or Vega. These are Vega GPUs, right? So when you look at these performance-wise, they're kind of back and forth like the Xbox and PlayStation are. The difference is Aya Neos is significantly more expensive because they can't subsidize the cost of it in some way, right? Maybe the Steam Deck has a weaker CPU, but it has a stronger GPU. Duh, right? Something as simple as that. But these games are going to make Valve money, so they can sell you this at a loss. Another good example of a console being sold at a loss. I guess the only console that we know of that's sold at a profit is the Nintendo Switch. Stop buying Nintendo Switches. You should. Fuck, man. That sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't realize that Nintendo was fucking scamming you. My bad. Anyways, this is just a little talk about this article. I think a lot of this was common knowledge, and if it wasn't, hey, I hope you learned something new today. I hope you learned about consoles being sold at a loss and subsidizing their losses with game sales and accessories. So don't feel bad about that controller costing $60. It makes your favorite game company money. I don't actually believe the Switch is sold at a profit. Nintendo said it themselves. I don't think that, like, when you think about like a tablet, before I was about to move into the outro. When you think about like a nice gaming tablet that's not running like desktop parts, someone is lying or misinterpreted to a data point. When you look at the cost of manufacturing for the Joy-Cons, which probably isn't much, especially with how much stick drift they get, they're clearly very poorly assembled. When you think about the fact that it's using 4 gigs of RAM, which is super easy to get a hold of now for very cheap prices, even low profile RAM, on a board that is basically a ARMS based Android solution, yeah, I could see it being sold at a loss. It's probably only the Switch Lite. Yeah, it is a vague statement, just like it was vague which Xbox they were referring to when they said, they lose about $100 to $200. $100 could be the Xbox Series S, and $200 could be the Series X. We don't know. They didn't truly say. But even still, I think that if you buy a console and then you're still having to pay subscription services and you're still paying marked up prices so that Nintendo can make money off the games and off the accessories, you're getting scammed. You're getting scammed. So if the Switch Lite is being sold at a profit, and the Switch Lite has the same hardware as the Nintendo Switch, that means the dock and the Joy-Cons are really expensive to make, which I find it impossible to believe. That the dock, even though it does have upscaling features, and that the Joy-Cons, which are very poorly made, if those two things together cost a fuck ton of money, then sure, yeah, maybe. But the hardware inside of the Switch and the Switch Lite is the same. So I fully doubt that they were wrong about this. I think that, like, go look at a tablet with similar specifications to the Nintendo Switch, and I'm sure it's not $350. I'm sure it's not $300. Hell, I think some of the tablets I see that are around $300 have 8 gigs of RAM. They don't even have 4. The Nintendo Switch has 4 gigs of RAM. I am surprised it's still running games. I'm happy it's still running games. But God, do we need a Switch Pro? You know what? Never mind. There's a Steam Deck on the screen. Don't even think about a Switch Pro. Instead, buy a Steam Deck and let Nintendo get mad at you for running Switch emulators on it, because apparently it does have the strength to run Switch hardware, like Switch emulators. I'm not supposed to say that. Apparently, Nintendo like goes after YouTubers and streamers who talk about emulating their games like really hard. But like, if you already own those games, is it piracy or infringement if you already own the games? No, I can't play my super snazzy Switch game at 60 FPS on a Switch, but I can on my Steam Deck. Anyways, yeah, I think that a nice thing about console gaming is that the upfront cost is a lot cheaper, but the cost over time can be a little pricier. But if you're willing to make that sacrifice, and you know that you're going to be in that ecosystem for 7+ years, for like 5 to 7 years, and you know that it's going to bring you $3,000 of enjoyment, it's probably worth it. I don't knock people for buying consoles because it's an easy way into gaming. Okay, and I wouldn't knock someone for choosing to a PS5 or an Xbox Series X right now over building a brand new PC, because the hardware is so accessible and you don't have to put any effort into learning how to put together a PC, paying someone to do it, setting up Windows, and setting up all your favorite game launchers. Just make sure you know that you're subsidizing your favorite company doing so. Anyways, this has been Beanie Thuggish, talking about an article I saw on GameSpot, signing out and saying peace.